Greetings and welcome to In Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. We are about to be joined by Diego Martin, a CIC youth who fell in love with wrestling from the age of 5. We go in depth on his journey from then till now with the one, the only, the TriniDan. Oh, bacchanal. Mr. Williams, how you do, sir?
I'm good, good day.
And I think you need to start off giving me a catchphrase. I don't want to say let's get it, but do it the way you do it, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Let's get it!
Well, how does it feel to wear the feathers, the colors, represent your country and this kind of atmosphere?
Man, it feels like a dream come true. It feels amazing to be able to be that, that person that just represents your country. It's something very patriotic and very dear to me. I love it.
And give thanks for that. But what is it about wrestling that made you fall in love with it at that tender age?
Well, I can't say how I fall in love with it at that age. I just know I just love entertaining and I love making people laugh or making people just feel emotions. So I guess growing up watching wrestling, I was like, I could use that platform to entertain people and to just make people feel good or make them feel sad, just feel something. And I just love that entertainment aspect of it and also that athletic side of it.
Now, you've had some involvement in other forms of, let's use the word grappling. I mean, Greco-Roman at Texas State, Jiu-Jitsu in Grenada. Yeah. Did any of those make you say, let me consider this a little more instead of the wrestling?
No, I mean, the goal has always been professional wrestling, but at the time, I didn't have like a school or an avenue to perform professional wrestling. So like in Grenada, the closest thing to wrestling was Jiu-Jitsu. So I tried that out. And then in Texas State, the closest thing to professional wrestling was college wrestling. So I was like, you know what? Let me try the college wrestling. So the goal was always professional wrestling, but I just did those two sports to keep my love for it strong, to keep my body good and my conditioning up until I started professional wrestling.
But speaking about your body, you had a diagnosis in 2015. What was it?
Yes, in 2015, diagnosed with myasthenia gravis, which is basically a muscle depleting disorder. It started with my eyes were tingly. They were still normal, but they were tingly. So I was like, something wrong here. So my mom took me to the eye doctor. He said, after a while, it would be normal. It would go back to normal. So I was like, okay. Then I went to West Texas the following month in 2015. And I went to sleep normal with my eyes normal. And then I woke up with my eyes crisscross. So I was like, cookie eye, as they say. And that was like a terrifying moment because I went to sleep normal with my eyes, woke up crisscross. I had to wear like a bandage to go wrestling practice just so that my depth perception would be good. But that time was a scary and frightening time.
So how long did that last? Because I know seem the cocky right about now, so I think and there have been some improvements. So what was that process like in terms of like the recovery? Was it something that you did or it just resolved itself on its own?
So as soon as my eyes got crisscrossed, we went to the ER to spend 4 days in the ER. And in the ER, they do this thing where they basically test your whole body to see what other complications you may have. And to my luck, I also had a small hole in my heart and my ejection fraction was low, which meant my heart wasn't pumping out all the blood that my body needed. It was at like 30%. And it's strange because I wasn't feeling any effect from that, but the ejection fraction was low. I had a hole in my heart. my eyes were crisscrossed. So the cardiologist told me, hey, stop wrestling, wrestling. If you keep doing wrestling, you will end up in the morgue. And I was like, okay. But being a stubborn individual, because I wasn't feeling tired, I wasn't feeling bad. I still pursued the wrestling. The doctors, they put me on steroids. I was on prednisone. I was on not beta alanine, but I was on a beta blocker basically, lisinopril. I was on, I believe it was just those three, and keep taking them for about 3 to 4 months. And eventually my eyes went back normal. So I say it lasted about 3 to 4 months. My eyes went back normal, my ejection fraction went back normal. The hole in the heart is still there, but is minute. So I'm still chasing the dream, but I'm taking it one day at a time.
So they don't put a patch or something. But actually, let's get out to speaking about your body. But what's the importance of your mental state during a period like that?
Mental state is 100%. That was because the physical state is going through its process. But I kept my mind strong by just telling myself, this is just a time, don't feel too bad about it. You're getting the treatment. It will pass. And because I kept my mind strong, my mental strong, it allowed my body to get back good because I kept that positive mindset.
And in terms of speaking about that positive mindset, that is something I want to come back to, as well as asking about the support network. But we have a short video that we want to go to before the break. So stay with us. We're speaking with the TriniDan, Daniel Williams. We come back with more. And welcome back. We are speaking with a TNT national in the WWE ring, the TriniDan, Daniel Williams. And we started, just before we went to the break, we were talking about mental processes, keeping your mind strong. I want to continue that train of thought, please, Daniel, asking about your support network, looking at your family, like, this child, he go good school. He went to school in the States with a degree in biology, a minor in chemistry, but looking at your family supporting you on this dream, looking at the lady who you need to make tea for in the morning, Miss Amy. Talk to me about your support network.
Well, my support network is amazing. So I have my fiance, Amy. She's been supporting me with this goal, telling me, keep going, keep going, keep going. So she's my number one supporter, as I always say. My mom and my dad, they also support me. They mainly support me knowing that I also am pursuing maybe something in the medical field. Not just, wrestling alone, but I want to let them know that wrestling is the main goal. But they support them because they're seeing stuff beginning to happen. And also my grandmother, Tanti, she also has been supporting me, and that whole side of the family. Basically, I have a good family support.
That is so important. And I like the fact that you're keeping options open, even though you're trying to keep the main thing. And I want to talk about schools, though. Wrestling schools, and apparently there's a different one. So 2019 versus 2020.
Yes, so in 2019, I started at I believe, the Texas Wrestling Academy. And I started there. That was the first place I got my wrestling, like basics, all the moves and everything, and how to fall, how to be a wrestler. So I started there, and then I moved on to Hybrid School of Wrestling just to get more training and to get more, just better coaching. So at Hybrid School of Wrestling in San Antonio, that is where I, honed my craft, and I was able to make my in-ring debut last year, 2021, I believe. And just grew from there. And now I'm basically on my own, still training on my side and just pushing the TriniDan brand worldwide.
I want to talk about that brand in just a moment, but describe some of those drills, the training regimen. What is it that is specific to wrestling and the type that you do versus catch wrestling, shoot wrestling in that ring? Because I also believe that you'll be getting, apart from just the physical aspects, also building a character, right?
Yes. So my character is basically, it's called a face. He's called a face character, meaning the good guy. And my role is to get the crowd behind me. So apart from just being able to do the physical moves, I have to be able to interact with the crowd to get them to, clap me on and say, come on, TriniDan. So that is also a training by itself, but the physical aspect is we also do shoot wrestling. We do shoot wrestling as well to get the conditioning up, but we focus on, strength building. We got the squats, bench press, deadlifts, building, how to run the ropes in the ring. We do drop down drills. We do basically about 3 hours. When I was training at Hybrid, it was 3 hours of cardio, and it was just basically sprints, medicine bags, sledgehammers, flipping the tire, running, and just different cardio exercises just to make sure you're conditioned to go in the ring, because you don't want to go in the ring and then they get tired, because you could get injured and your opponent could get injured. So you want to make sure you're conditioned and you could still put on a show.
And you prefer functional strength building like bodyweight drills or actually lifting weights? Some people say if they're not smelling the old iron, they don't feel like they're doing anything. So what's your preference?
Personally, I like the lifting the iron, lifting the weights, but I understand the importance of the functional. But personally, I love the bench press, the squats, deadlifts, lifting the heavy weights per se.
Okay, and you're still a personal trainer?
Yeah, on the side, I still do my personal training. I'm actually starting at this other company, hopefully this week. So the personal training is still there, which also supplements my wrestling training.
Okay. And we started to talk about building out the character a little bit, but what's the significance? How do you feel using this character, the TriniDan, and the WE as a platform to showcase Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, personally, I want just basically everybody to know that, Trinbagonians out there doing good things, Trinbagonians out there chasing the dream. And in the professional wrestling world, there is not a lot of Caribbean influence. And I love my Trinidadian culture. So for me to be able to represent Trinidad and to be able to showcase our culture in a small time frame is important to me, because I want everybody to know that, Trinidad and Tobago, we out there, we doing it. We chasing the dream.
I think that's interesting. I appreciate that, because I think when you talk about the small amount of representation from the Caribbean, because even I think Kofi Kingston is originally from Ghana, right?
Yes.
So, but with that,
that's another.
Was that sorry?
No, I said that's another thing for me, because watching Kofi growing up, I was like, yo, this guy Caribbean, nice. I was motivated, but then when I found out he wasn't from Jamaica, I was like, dog, my heart dropped. But it also allowed me to be like, okay, I'm gonna be the first one then. If Kofi wasn't able to represent the Jamaican side, I would try to do it for the Trinidadian side.
Really breaking open, possibly having people following your footsteps. But continuing with that character, building that face, what is the process of deciding, okay, well, this is your entrance song, this is your costume, these are some of your signature moves? What is that process like?
So it first starts with, who is TriniDan? Who is TriniDan? And my character, TriniDan, is the guy with the most vibes, the coolest, the one with the waistline. So I wanted to find a soca song, and it had to be a soca song. It can't be any other song. Soca is Trinidad and Tobago. So I wanted to find a soca song that had that upbeat. And I went through different songs. It was Madder Than That by Marshall and Benjai Trini. And Benjai Trini represented me better because of the intro, like the and then the beat drop. And as soon as that beat drop, everybody, all the Americans, they go crazy, they be clapping and stuff. And I was like, that is what I want. So the song was basically just to say, who is TriniDan? And like, is he a good guy, bad guy? But when you hear my song, you know, he's a good guy. And the costume, I wanted to find a costume that is Trinidad colors, Trinidad and Tobago colors, red, white, and black. And we are known for our carnival. So the feathers, that's our carnival. So the feathers, and then the black trunks with the Trinidad and Tobago logo, red boots, and also, I believe I have white knee pads. So that's red, white, and black right there. And the entrance song, yeah.
And
hopefully I answered the question there.
You did. And what would be interesting to me is say that music drops. Well, when you say the beat drops and you see a whole heap of little children around the place watching on TV and they start to put up their hand and whine and be like, what's going on with you? In terms of like the parents asking them that, the same way that at 5, who is it? Is it the Undertaker? Who had you running to and go to sleep frightened at 5?
No, it was Kane.
Kane. So you have a little so you have a little different effect on people when they hear your music drop and they're expecting you to make your entrance into the ring.
Yes. So when my music drop, it's like, oh man, this guy is life for the party. So they go be dancing, they feeling the vibes. And then I go in there and perform.
All right, so we want to thank you for sharing some of that vibes with us. Daniel Williams, the TriniDan pro wrestler. TNT is being represented at the WWE ring. And on behalf of the entire TTT News team, I'm Dike Rostant. This has been In Depth. Thank you for joining us.